Welcome back to CIDC 2019, the last session, and it's with Bruce. And if you haven't talked to Bruce one-on-one, please come up and just
There's space on the stage.
Yeah,
you can come now.
Just come up
Just
and
come
talk
sit,
to him.
Sit here in the front.
He just hasn't talked to enough people.
No. You as well.
No. We're pointing at you.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm standing next to him because I'm trying to get this osmosis stuff going. It keeps coming. Yeah. Anyway, he's going to reflect.
That's it.
Yes, Bruce.
They said to me, do some reflection.
I
like...
Can I leave now?
You can leave now.
Please give a hand to this man, Bruce.
Why is my mouse sitting down in the corner? It's not going to work. There we go. So I always like to do one presentation which is a little bit non-technical. We've heard some fantastic stuff the last 3 days, a couple of days training before that with Annie and myself. It's been a long week. Who feels like they're ready for a rest? No. Put your hands down. We want 2 weeks, John, 2 weeks. But it's nice to stop every now and then. I don't know if you've heard the phrase, the difference between working on your business as opposed to in your business. Okay, and so this is a little bit more working on the business rather than in the business. How did we get here? What are we doing? Where are we going? In homage to Dave Harms, I would say, how did we get here? I came by plane and then a little car from the airport. What are we doing? Wrapping up, I suppose. Where are we going? Home, I imagine, for most of us. But that's not what this session is about. No. So this session is not about software. I'm not going to talk about your programs, good or bad. I'm not going to talk about anything technical. You can close your laptops. You can pack it away. This is not about Clarion or soft velocity. Okay? This is not about the future of Clarion or where it's going. It's not about soft velocity or anything like that. It's not about the language that you code in or the platform that you target, so you can relax about that. This is about business, or more specifically, this is about your business. All right? Because this is the moment to reflect and say, we've done all this work this week, and we can dash home and start implementing stuff, and I certainly am going to do that. But we've also got to step back sometimes and look at the big picture. Now, naturally, I'm speaking mostly to owners of businesses, or perhaps owners of business units inside a company, or perhaps employees who are just starting out. That's okay. These things are good to think about, even if it's not your business. These things are good to think about, even if you're 50 years from retirement. And I want to speak specifically today about your exit from the business, which is not to say that you're about to exit. It doesn't matter where you are in your walk, you need to be thinking about how we're going to exit. And it's going to be different for every single one of us. In order to talk about exiting, we first need to roll back the clock. How did we get here? Where did we start? My personal story, I started Clarion for DOS 2.1. I left university, went to work for someone. We did custom business software. The clue was right there in the name of the business, custom business software. We wrote programs for people, kind of like a consulting kind of gig, if you like. We wrote custom business software. We'd get a client. We'd spec out a system. This is the mid-90s, early to mid-90s. So people are just starting to computerize stuff. Windows is about 3.1, Windows 3.1. They're starting to look at Windows, things like that. We grew. We got a bit more successful. But along the way, we changed our focus because we realized the consulting gig is very hard to do if there's more than one of you, because it's always feast or famine. There's always too much work or not enough work. It works okay if you're by yourself, you've got a regular stream of clients. The moment you start getting 2, 3, 4 people, it's always famine, frankly. And so we switched over to doing products, where we get paid for each copy sold. And that's just how we developed. We had distributors in different countries. We would support them, write the software, and make money for every sale we sold. What are you doing now? Or perhaps put another way, where is here? I said, how did we get here? Well, where is here? Where is here for you? You may be a single-person consultant doing custom software like we used to. You may be in a small business of 1 or 2 people building software. You may be mostly involved in the programming side or mostly involved in the business side. You may have contractors. You may be whatever you are. This is all going to lead us to your path and lead us to how you will look to the future, how you will exit. Where are you going? If you don't have a target, it's almost impossible to hit it. Okay? So you should have an idea of, if you're at 25, you should have an idea of where you're going. What does your life look like 40 years from now? If you're 65, what does your life look like 5 years from now? If you're 75, what does it look like next year? Okay? Where are you going? It's different for each one of us. I'm not going to prescribe. You'll notice in my slides lots of questions. Very, very few answers. I can give some hints and pointers, but mostly what I'm asking you to do is think about some of these questions, go back and read the slides later, and say, well, how does this question apply to me where I am now? Because as I say, if you don't have a target, it's almost certain you're going to miss it. There you go. Everything that has a beginning has an end. And we think about the beginning, and we think about the middle, we think about where we are right now. We're so busy working in the business. We're not working on the business. And the business will dictate largely whether our exit goals are realizable or not. Why does this matter? Because actions you take today are going to affect you into the future. You cannot have an exit strategy for next week. There just isn't time to implement it. But if you have an exit strategy for 10 years from now, then you can say, great, in 10 years I want the business to look like this. What do I need to do to get there? You just can't move forward until you know where you are. So let's take a look at where you are. Where's your business value? This is a very interesting question to ask, because if you ask 10 programmers, they'll probably all say the software. How many of us think our business value is tied up in the software we spent the last 25 years writing? Okay. It's very seldom the software. Are you the value in your business? You've all got domain knowledge about your particular field of expertise. Dan knows more about mechanic shops than anyone wants to know. All right? Tom knows more about tax forms than any living person should really want to know. You know? So we've all got expertise in a specific area. Are you the value in your business? Is all the expertise in your head the actual value that your business sells? Is your software the key? What about staff? If you're a slightly bigger business, perhaps you own a few, you've hired a few staff. See? A business with staff has a certain value, because the goal being that you exit, but they don't. On the other hand, come businesses with staff, your exit is going to affect them enormously. So that's something to think about as well. What about your customers? It's remarkable how often we overlook this. If you have a customer list, that has a very specific value. And I promise you it is much higher than you think it is. Just for the list of customers. Nothing else. And sometimes your exit strategy is going to be, I'm going to sell my customer list. If that's where the value is, that's what you may be a single developer, you've built a business, you've sold, you've got lots of customers out there, a couple hundred, maybe 1,000, whatever, and you're thinking it's time to retire, but there's no one to take over. You're by yourself. Well, your business still has value to someone. And one of the most powerful things is customers. If those customers are paying recurring revenue, that value goes right up. Right up. But I've seen businesses sold out to competitors just for the customer list. just for the customer list. So that's something to think about. There's value in there. How do you get it out? Maybe your value is in something else. Maybe your value is in something else. Maybe you built up a fleet of 18-wheeler trucks that are sitting in the driveway. And there's some value in that. All right? We can look at the value, but we also have to look at the skeletons. Because every single thing has two sides. Every coin has two sides. Every decision has an upside and a downside. Every decision is a compromise between choices. And we always want to know what the downside is and the upside. Now, in business, we can have skeletons, and these can radically reduce the value of a product. I'll give you an example. We had a guy come to us. He had 12 customers. And he was kind of wanting to retire, and the customers were looking for someone to take over the product. And they were willing to commit to fairly substantial recurring revenue. They wanted to see him done well by, so that he could ride off into the sunset to his retirement. And they wanted to see a product that they could carry on using. Someone else would take it over. And he was a one-man band. And he would literally travel. He had 12 customers. He would spend about 11 months of the year on the road. He didn't have a house. He would go from customer to customer and spend 3 weeks with them at a time. That's why he had 12. Because you can't do any selling if that's what you're doing. And he would live in motel rooms. I mean, I'm not going to talk about the business itself, but that's what he was doing. And so we did the math. We did it all up. And there was one little elephant in the room. So this is circa 2007. And the product is written in CW2 and has never been upgraded. So what's the first job the person's going to have to do to take it over? They're going to have to do an upgrade of a system they know nothing about, of an industry they know nothing about. And that guts about 80% of the value of his software. He couldn't retire. Couldn't retire because although he'd built up the value, he'd also built up all this technical debt behind it. Maybe your business has got sloppy accounting. Once a year, you pull out a shoebox full of receipts, you fill in your tax form, and that's it. Or maybe your accounting's up to date. And every single month you draw management accounts, and you can see what the cash flow in was, what the cash flow out was, what the customer list, whether it went up or down, what the mean recurring revenue looks like, all those kind of good numbers. Someone comes in and says, I want to buy your business. We want to figure out how it's worth, how much it's worth. Do you have a good, clean set of books to show him? Which, by the way, tells him a lot more than just numbers. It tells him what you're doing in the business. If I go into a business and say, well, okay, let me see your books for last month, accurate up to last month. Oh no, our books are always a year behind. Okay. All right. So what does that say about you as a programmer, you as your code? People judge you over here based on what you do over here. Or you go into a business and they say, oh, I can draw management accounts every day. We're up to date. Every single payment in the bank is in there. We do that once a week. Our accounts may be accurate up to the end of last month. Sure, they haven't been audited. They get audited once a year. That's something that's easy to fix. It makes you much more valuable. Someone's not going to spend their time and energy pouring through your out-of-date books and trying to figure out if your business is worth buying if you don't have basic accounts. What about undocumented processes? We all have these. We do something and we know how to do it, but it's not written down. So if I leave, how is someone going to know how to do that job? Process a credit card or trigger a debit order run or whatever it is. Reboot the server. Pay for the Amazon bill. If all these processes are undocumented, then we're going to have to document them during the changeover process, which means during the acquisition process, the guy doesn't know what we do. And it's hard to figure out whether you need to be replaced or not replaced or whatever. These are the skeletons in the cupboard. Technical debt, my favorite. We'll put off for tomorrow what we don't need to do today. Every feature is 80% finished. Right? Oh, no, we don't have time to do it right. Because we are so busy. Why are we busy? Well, because we're doing so much support. Why are we doing so much support? Well, because last week's feature wasn't done right either. So we're redoing that. We're ever so busy. You know what one of the little secrets in life is? Hard work counts for nothing. Nothing. It's sad. Because at school you were told, work hard and everything will just fall in your lap. Jimmy's no good at this, but he tries hard. Jimmy's no good at this, but he put a lot of effort in. But in the real world, trying hard and putting effort in count for nothing. All right? And if you're no good at it, you're no good at it. That's the reality of it. So if you're ever so busy and you come and you think, and I'm preaching to the converted here because you all found a way to carve 8 or 9 days out of your lives to come to Florida. But I know a whole pile of people are like, I'm too busy to go to the conference and learn how to do stuff. Why am I too busy? Well, because I don't know how to do stuff. So how do you stop and get better at what you're doing and not just being busy? People tell me, I'm working 16-hour days. Well, there's no glory in that. That means nothing. It may mean you're not being very efficient. Or it may mean you're getting a lot done. Yeah, make hay while the sun shines. Right? There's a lot to do. Feast or famine. This is feasting time. Put the hours in. Absolutely. In the famine time, maybe that's the time to learn how to be better at it. Yeah? You understand what I mean by that? If you do things right the first time, A, you keep your technical debt down, and B, you tend to become more efficient. But it takes longer to do it right the first time. Well, it's actually shorter than doing the third time. Yeah? Oh, excuse me. So where are you going? Where are you going? And does it matter? Well, if you've got staff, it matters to your staff. If you've got family, it matters to your spouse. There are examples in our own community, people we knew, who have died, unfortunately, passed on somewhat expectedly without any provision for their family. All right? And those last few months, they're scrambling around trying to find someone to buy a business while they're desperately ill. It seldom ends well. So who'll care? Who'll care when you exit the business? Your customers, your employees, your family? Is there value there? Is there value there? Sometimes there isn't. That's the honest truth of it. Let's take our hypothetical Jeremy. Jeremy works from contract to contract. He has very little recurring business. He goes into a business, tidies them up, teaches them what to do, works for 3 months. The contract's finished, he moves on to the next business. And so on, and so on, and so on. He's effectively a consultant. Doesn't have recurring revenue from his customers, barely sees his customers, has no customer list to speak of. Doesn't have any employees. What software there is really tools he's acquired himself over the years. His real value to his customers is what's in his head. Okay, that's not really a business, it's a job. And when it comes to an end, it's going to come to an end. And there's not a lot of value there. Well, if you know that, 5 years before you retire, there's certain things you can do to make sure that you're not expecting to sell something at the end. You know, when you're 74, 75, 80, it's a bit late to be taking on the next generation. If you're 50, you've got time to train them up, if that's how you plan to exit. How can you improve that value? These are questions you can ask yourselves. I can't answer them for you. But can you improve it? Can you make your business more attractive 5 years from now than it is today? And if you can, what's it going to take? And should you start now? Well, I can improve the value of my business just by getting my accounts up to date and keeping them that way. Well, there you go. Simple. Can I improve my business by making sure all my technology is up to date? How many XP machines are floating around my office? How many of my programs are still in Clarin 6? Can I improve that? I hear a lot of guys say, I'm retiring in 3 years, so I'm not upgrading my Clarin. And I want to say, but that's the time you really must upgrade it. No one wants to take over a program that's still in Clarin 8, Clarin 9. If you couldn't be bothered to upgrade it, what signal are you sending to them? As a complete aside, for those of you who are employees, I was talking to someone over lunch, I tell this to anyone who'll listen, the last month you work in a business is the most important. Nobody cares you've been working there for 10 years. They will only remember the last 4 weeks. And if you've had enough, and you set fire to everything on your way out, that is what they will remember. And that will follow you for your career, because that job is on your CV. And someone will talk to someone and ask for a reference, and all they will remember is how you left. I tell my son he's about to leave his first job. He's graduating. Yay! He's going to get a real job. He's been working 4 years for a particular company doing a lot of media stuff. How the last 4 weeks is what they will remember. They won't remember his 4 years of effort. It starts when you're young. So if you're young, take that on board as a tip. Right? Would you buy your own business? That's a harsh question to ask. Would you buy your own business, and how much would you pay for it? All right? Yeah, we've seen endless valuations of billion-dollar companies that have never made a profit. Let me tell you something for fun. Your business will be valued almost exclusively on your profit over the last 4 years. And that's it. They don't care what your revenue is. They don't care how long it's been in business. They don't care about nothing. What's your profit over the last 4 years? Because you're in a good place to extract profit, right? Typically, you pay 4 times, 5 times profit total. Forget revenue. Counts for nothing. Sure, if you sell Google, good luck with that. But none of us are Google. Or maybe we are. I don't know. All right? But net profit is something you want to get up. Would you buy your own business? How much money would you put into it? So what can you do now? Well, firstly, think about it. That's really the biggest thing. Start thinking about it. Start spending some time answering for yourself some of these questions. Only worry about the things you can control. I get people, they say to me, oh yeah, I'm not planning for this because, the economy's in a terrible state, and my customers are doing something else, and my suppliers are doing this, and it's like, you can control none of that. So stop wasting time worrying about it. What's soft velocity going to be doing 3 years from now? Yeah, in the big picture, it's useful to know that, but in the finer details, you can't control that. So plan accordingly. It doesn't matter who your supplier is, you can't control that. But there are things you can control about your business. So worry about those things. Reduce your skeletons. Spot the skeleton, make him go away. I find this helpful. Pick an exit date. Write it down. It's not cast in stone, of course not. But it gives you a target. If you don't have a target, you can't hit it. You just can't. So I have an exit date. I'm not going to leave on that day, actually, but I have a date. Certain things have to be in place by a certain time. That gives me the freedom to leave if I want to, or to stay if I want to, or to play more golf if I want to, right? But I can't start planning an exit, and I'm talking now more about guys who are closer rather than further, okay? So, Stephen is 22, he's got some time. Albert, you can chill a little bit. You don't have to write the date down just yet. Okay? But for the rest of us, it's like, what are we thinking? 2030? 2040? 2060? What time scale do we have to play with? So write it down. I like writing it down. Kind of just put it on your fridge or something. You're not going to hit that date. That's not the point of the exercise. You understand what I'm saying? Decide what you're selling and optimize for that. No one is going to buy us because of this. They're going to buy us because of that. Well, in that case, let's get that as good as it can be. Are they going to buy us for our customer list? Well, then start selling. Make sure you retain the customers you have. Work really hard on that. Are they going to buy us for our recurring revenue? Well, let's get all our customers onto our recurring revenue stream. They're going to buy us for our staff. Well, let's make sure the staff are skilled. Let's make sure the right staff are in there and that they're doing their job well and that they understand the domain, because that can be an incredible talent pool for someone in that space to come looking for. Are you selling your software? Well, then it better be good. It should be as good as you can possibly make it. If you can, and this is not always possible, you can start building a relationship with who you think might want to own it in the future. We have competitors in our space where we can, which isn't in every case, but where we can, we're on civil, relations with those people. They know who we are, we know who they are. We come across them from time to time. You smile, you nod, you be friendly, you talk to them, you build relationships. They want to do the same to you. Yeah, some people are unfriendly, don't want to do it. Oh, that's fair enough. Maybe you're going to sell your business to your staff. All right? Well, you can't spring that on them one day. You need a plan. They need to be involved in that plan. Maybe your future owners are going to be your family. That's a great thing. Pass it down to the next generation. Well, they need to be trained up in that. What does that look like? Give them your date so they know when you're pushing off. Yeah? Because they won't last 40 years if you plan to be there at 85 still telling them what to do. When should you do this, by the way? When should you do it? Any suggestions? Do it now. And finally, what does the end look like? Well, that's different for every one of us. Some of us plan to work until we drop. That's absolutely okay. There's still value left. Just make sure your wife or your family have all the bits and pieces they need to get that value out the day you go under. Yeah? Others of us plan to retire and play more golf. Others of us plan to sort of scale back. Now we're working 5 days a week. Now we're working 4 days a week. Now we're working 3 days a week. Now I'm taking 6 weeks off to go touring. What does the end look like? It's different for all of us. And it can change. I'm sure Albert's vision of the end is going to change between now and when you're 80. But actually, the end mostly looks like this. A big fat nothing. So, say again? That's too bleak. Yes, the thing about, you know what's funny about thinking about the end is that we don't want to talk about that. No, I don't want to talk about that. I've seen people who are like terminally ill and will not talk about the end. And you know what makes it worse? Is that doesn't actually make everyone around them feel better. It actually makes it much worse for everyone else. Because the reality that everyone can see with a blind eye. And here's the thing, guys. I turned on the TV the other day and discovered that heart attacks are down, but cancer is up. So here's the dirty secret. We all die of something. All right? We're all going to die. Now, I don't intend to die in the business. And if you do intend to die in the business, that's fine. That's absolutely your choice. But there is an end. As the oracle said at the beginning, everything that has a beginning has an end. If we plan for the end, we've got a good chance of getting there in style. Of leaving our families in the best possible way. I'm not trying to be morbid, Carl. Not at all. But if we don't talk about it, it'll never happen. Yeah? And of course, this isn't the only thing you should reflect on. Not even a little bit. We've been here for a week now. I've had a lot of fun. I hope you've all had a lot of fun. Yeah? Go back. But if we don't apply what we've learned, if we don't actually go... People come to my desk and say, I bought that last time. Yeah, I haven't put it in the program yet. Look, hey, less support for me. All right? And I've got an upgrade to sell you. But the reality is that coming here and sitting in a chair and absorbing all this information counts for nothing. You may as well have stayed home if all you do is go back and on Monday morning is exactly the same as 2 weeks ago, is exactly the same as 4 weeks ago. Unless you take one thing out of this conference and apply it to your program, you wasted your time. That's all it takes, one thing. One contact with someone that you met. There are people here looking for work. There may be people here who need workers. So here's a thought, all right? This is off the top of my head, Arnold, so forgive me. If you're looking for work, after the event, once we've done all the things, just wander down the front here. Look casual about it, like, if you're looking for workers, someone to do a contract, someone to help you with something, Wander down to the front, look casual. Are you looking or are you buying? Buying or selling? Yeah. And maybe hook up if you haven't already. I know several have already. Okay? But go away and do something different next week. Or the week after, the week after. I begged you this last time. I begged you this the time before and the time before. If we don't do something with what we've learned, we've wasted our time. If it's in here, what good's that? It's got to come out of here. Yeah? All right? Thank you, everyone. That's it from me. Are we going to give away
What
some?
kind of questions can we have?
Yeah,
with
I'm not
that?
going to ask for questions. Not at all.
What is the meaning of life?
What is the meaning of life? I
All
won't
right.
answer that.
We got actually 3 giveaways.
Come up here. I'll stand on the X so we're perfectly in frame.
Well, I'm going to hand it to you and you read them.
Well, I'll dig them out. Are we down to 3 people left in the bag? Is that what we're saying?
Alejandro, here, let me dig it out. Ready?
Yeah, but I need the microphone. Oh, I've got a microphone.
Yeah, you got it.
I got a microphone.
You got your own mic.
All right. What are we giving away?
Alejandro.
Alejandro's, one of his auto
Did I
backup
say it right?
templates.
Alejandro.
Alejandro. Well, this one is going to... Oh, we've got a lot of these guys. So read that.
Tuz.
How many Tuzzes have we got?
Whoa!
You see, he leaps to his feet. He says, I'm the only Tuzz here. Okay? There you go. And
Well,
this
we
is?
don't want to give that to him. That's your boy.
What is he winning?
That would just be Lindersaw.
No, we got that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, De Jager.
De Jager.
De Jager.
Come on, let's try it again. De Jager.
Lindersoft.
This is for Lindersoft, Enterprise Edition.
Setup Builder.
You may believe this, you may not.
Wendy.
Okay? This is definitely a believe it or not moment.
No way.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
He put it back in.
Mr. Ripley. You won something last night? Oh, you're not supposed to be in twice. All right, so we're still trying to find an Enterprise Edition. See, I didn't believe it. So this is still Enterprise
This
Edition?
one ends with R too.
It does, and I know he's had to leave because his plane left.
Okay, next.
Does that mean he...
No.
I won't even say his name because it'll sting, right?
It will
When he
sting.
watches the recording.
These guys
it'll
all
sting.
stayed, right?
These guys all stay.
I'm going to get more of those. Bruce Johnson. Oh,
No.
he left.
He also left?
Yeah.
You should have saved back a laptop for around about now. Okay? We're just going to empty the bag and see who's left. Hey?
Well, that's to prove that everybody's in there.
Tom Heavenstraight.
Is he here?
He is here.
Does he want it?
Do you want a Lindersoft Enterprise Edition? Okay. Before we go any further, I'm going to ask everyone who doesn't have Setup Builder to stand up. All right. If you want it. If you don't want it, stay seated down. Okay. So if you want a Setup Builder and you don't already have, the trouble is it's such great stuff that it has been around the block a few times, right? So there's not that many people. Okay. So stand up. If you want it, stand up. Okay. So 2, 3. Okay, you turn around. Okay. I'm looking for a number. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Okay. So it's going to be from 1 to 10, left to right. I'm going to do this block first, this block second, this block third. So she doesn't know which one I'm talking about. I believe I'm seeing 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
It's 10.
There's 10. I need a number from 1 to 10.
6.
6. So is this block first? What did I say? This block first? Yes? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then that block second, 5, 6. Gentleman in the red.
What's your name?
Jasper, there we go. Okay,
Jasper!
okay. So, Linda Soft Enterprise Edition.
Okay.
Okay?
Pick one.
And you better come give us your name because I didn't pull a thing out. Should I put all these back in? Because these guys.
No, just, well, we could, no.
Well, that
they're
one.
gone.
That one. No?
Yeah, put them back in.
Put that one back in. 'Cause-
You see?
What's
you
this
give
for?
it to him?
What's this for?
This one's for Andy.
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 Hello, Andy. What are they getting, Andy? Hey. Template of their choice, I say.
Okay, who wears
That's not how you
who's
sound,
the-
is it? No,
who wears
it's not.
the 4X? Nobody?
Santa size.
Who's that?
I wear Santa size.
Which
Too bad. Joe Lucas just won.
Joe, well done.
There you go.
There you go. Nyansis wrapper of your choice.
Here's the last one.
He's probably got them all, she says.
We got one more.
Oh no, Governor. Oh my word. Yeah?
Call him.
Do we have to call him up?
Yep.
We have to call him up. Mr. Hickey, if you would approach the stage.
Yeah, you can sit down.
I don't know where this came from. Where did this come from?
I don't know.
We don't know. All I'm saying is it's in the thing. It's got your name on it.
Somebody stuck it in this thing. Open it up.
Happy 10th
Hey.
anniversary.
Yeah. Hey, so we're gonna wrap it up, so hurry up.
These folk
You know,
want to
he
go home.
always draws it out. The webinars, we have to have that whole 2 hours or more. What's that?
That's cool.
Show everybody
Nobody
that.
can see it. I don't know if you can see it. It's a Batman on the front.
And who's in the back?
Arnold. I didn't have to look far for a hero, is what it says. Oh, isn't that nice? What is this?
John loves toys. Believe it or not, I was going to give him one of those dolls, and I said, nah. So I said, he loves toys, so let him go get his own.
It's an Amazon gift card
There you go.
for
Flat screen TV.
a large amount.
A large amount.
It's excellent amount.
He deserves it, man. He works so hard.
It's just there.
So hard. Best partner ever. Okay.
All right.
So anyway, let's wrap it
You
up.
two wrap it up. I don't need to be here for this. Okay?
Well, you might have to, if we argue, we need.
If
we
you
need-
argue,
we
I'll
need-
step in.
We need a marriage counselor.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
Okay. Go ahead. You do it. I've been talking all day.
I don't know. Well, normally,
Wrap it up.
okay, normally I talk about Clarion Live being you guys because, the presenters. And in fact, I have the presenters stand up. So anyone else who has ever presented on Clarion Live, please stand up. It's on Clarion Live.
On a
Stand up.
Friday. Like
If-
Friday, Wednesday, that kind
On the
of
Friday, yeah.
thing.
On
Not
the
just
Friday.
that.
whatever.
Come on, Carl. You
And
present
recognize
it.
these people.
Ever.
Recognize
Come
these
on,
people. Excellent. Yes, because they have volunteered to share with all of us.
And believe me, a presentation takes time to prepare.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Lots of time,
Yeah, it does.
especially if you have to practice.
So, as I've walked around the conference, though, I've had people who have not presented offer to present.
They did.
Yes. And
Thank you, whoever you are.
people have noticed a bit of enthusiasm at this conference that they might not have noticed at other conferences. So these are all good things. I was happy with Bob's announcements. I like the free edition. I like the 64-bit. It means that my program will continue to exist for a while. Those are all good things. I like the new products. What is that? Any screen.
Any screen.
Yeah. That's cool. I like that they were working with ThinNet and getting that thing done. That they seem to be I don't know, a little bit recharged this year. I think it reached out to all of us, so I thought that was cool. But anyway, am I trying to stretch to a certain time?
No, I don't know.
Like 4:30?
No, but people gotta go. We gotta start opening out presents.
People gotta
too.
go, okay.
Yeah. But we wanna thank everybody, right?
I do want to thank everybody. This was astounding. This I can't talk about it because I'll start crying.
It's,
We don't
it's
want
bad
that.
when he cries.
We don't want that.
It's
I told a few people, you've seen the movie E.T., and at the end, and he goes, Elliot, and he reaches out and says, I'll be right here, That's how I felt when this came up. I felt that you all said, I'll be right here. It just, I don't know. It was amazing. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over there and open them up. You're welcome to hang around and see us as we open them, or you can just take off, and we'll wrap it up. And everybody have a great weekend, and we'll see you
Thank you all.
Friday,
Thank you all.
Wednesday. We're in 2 years.
See you Friday.
Thanks.
Look at that. Take it away. Hey. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Oh, turn it off.
Hey, don't forget your phone.
Carry that camera right.